What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to make sure everyone is feeling happy and feeling good. If you're new here, please go ahead and share where you're watching from, maybe your name in the chat, and let's get the party started. All right. So today we're talking about. I don't want to waste any time. Today we're talking about why successful brands are always based off of color theory, and we're doing a live right now, and it's so action packed with content, and I want to make sure we get through all of it. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. So strap in, get your notepad and pencils ready, and we're going to break down specifically how this is going to work. In terms of brand awareness and how people are using these informations for understanding the behavioral economics of people that sell things. And it's very important when we work with brands that we recognize and we understand that color is still one of those really loud things that doesn't say anything. So it's allowed in terms of the scope of how we make decisions, but it's nonverbal. It speaks in a very, very different kind of way, but it does resonate with individuals and how they make those purchasing decisions, and it affects their moods. And a buyer's mood is the biggest factor in whether they'll make a purchase or not. And this is the reason why color theory is extremely important. It's taught in schools. It's taught with psychology. It plays a significant role in brand identity design. So you don't even realize it, but a lot of the times color is affecting you in a way that is pushing you or to the next step or pushing you towards purchase. And it has a very powerful role on that purchase decision, like I mentioned already. So, what is color psychology? Color psychology is defined as the study of colors and their direct impact on human behavior. I read that straight off of Google's definition, but each color does play a role on how people feel, like I said, and how they act because of that feeling. So there's simple ways to think about this. People buy with emotions. We spend our money with emotions. And just know that all the major brands that you are usually talking to or engaging with, they have spent millions of dollars to make sure that they have teams of people who are researching how you behave when you feel a certain way, and you want to tap into that as well. Don't leave that be just for for Google and for Nike and all these other massive brands. You have the power of understanding or at least harnessing what that can look like for your brand. So let's talk about it. Why is color psychology so important for branding? And I want to get to a couple of examples a little bit later. So I am kind of flying through some of the other content themes that I wanted to cover before we hit there. So obviously they have literal definitions, but entrepreneurs need to have some type of awareness of the legitimate impact that colors can have on their brands. Excuse me. Colors used in branding convey a specific message without saying a single word. And that's what I was trying to say earlier, that they speak so loudly, and they affect you in such a high level way, but it's not something that's auditory that you're actually going to hear. The second thing is target markets are more likely to respond to colors that provide emotional appeal towards solutions to the problems. So again, if you affect how I feel, now I'm making a decision from an emotional standpoint, which is like 90% of all decisions. It's I feel this way, so I want to buy something to either acknowledge or to replace this emotion that I'm having. And so understanding the theory and how your brand can actually play a significant role in that as well. So colors make brand consistent with their messaging. It provides some continuity, and that way brands stand out. We can go through this in many different ways. I could show you commercials without the brand in it, but you'll know what the brand is. If I showed you an IKEA commercial and nowhere in this commercial was there IKEA, but you saw the furniture and you saw the blue and gold, you'll be able to identify it. Same thing with Target. If you saw the Target ad without any branding that said Target, you'd probably pick it, if not on your first try, and your second try. And you can go down the list of all the most recognizable brands that they don't even necessarily need their branding to make sure that they are standing out and are consistent at all different platforms. So never, this is the last one, never underestimate colors, because studies have shown that over time that they actually have a huge impact on branding. And when you have a huge impact on branding, you now control bottom line growth, conversions, sales. So this is a critical part, and we're going to obviously promote people to find professionals to help them with this. You don't have to be a pro at this for your business, but it's good for you to understand where people are coming from when they are where other companies and brands are coming from when they make very specific and strategic decisions about color theory and about the branding that goes along with it. Okay, I'm gonna have a little sip of water here so I don't keep coughing. All right, if you guys are just watching, go ahead and drop it into the chat. I'm happy that you guys are here. Um, yeah, we're talking about why successful branding needs color theory and how it affects it. So right now, let's talk really quickly about how it impacts your brand image. It has a very powerful impact that colors have on delivering a brand's message. Brand color psychology uses a framework of creativity that uses colors to promote the emotions that people experience when using the product or using a service. Each color has a different role that it plays. Each color identifies with a unique set of emotions, and therefore you can now align your service to an emotion or your product to a solution. And now you can start to see how there is a great value in understanding how people are feeling when they're purchasing your product, and how you can tap into that to kind of help them along the way in your customer journey. So let's start paying closer attention to color. But I want to make sure that you guys fully understand how to do that, and we're going to break down a couple of these things now. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I think this is an excellent way to consider what can happen inside of your company when you're considering even more how your brand can actually leverage color. Okay, let's take a look at it now. All right, I hope you guys can see that. Excellent. So let me just make sure I can see it. Good, good, good. Okay, number one, concept of black. Black is extremely unique. And the first three of these colors, I'm going to be truthful with you guys, are technically not colors, they're shades. I know that. Please don't come for me in the comments. But black is one of the most popular colors in retail and a lot of businesses, period, just because of the professionalism and the sophistication that is applied to it as well. Most text is usually written in black, and it's very easy to read. And it's kind of the opposite of white, which is like, white is, we're going to talk about that next. So that's very, clean and neutral and minimalistic in every way, whereas black is very sophistication, professionalism. It conveys a air of understanding what's at stake. And you see here in Nike uses black and white and gray, on their website to promote a more minimalistic view. Wow, those are tongue twister type sentences. But they design all the buttons that need to stand out all in black, adding that professional emphasis. And if you want to think about it, Nike is the most serious brand about athleticism, about striving for greatness. They don't, it's not a light brand. People that, I always joke about this, people that wear Nike gear when you're doing like pickup basketball or pickup whatever sport, if they're wearing Adidas, they're a lifestyle person. They want the look, they want it to be cool, they want to have fun. If they're wearing Nike, it's because they take this seriously. They take performance seriously. They take running seriously. Nike is in the business of being professionals and performing in a way that's helping people, realize that this is a serious part of their life. We also have Chanel. Chanel have a black logo, or a lot of black in their logo, and on their website. And you can see this, creating that professional look that makes navigation very easy. It's very stark. It's the primary color of professionalism, and Chanel does that as well. Number two, let's talk about white. White is the cleanest color. White represents the humility and the cleanliness in most cultures around the world. And that's kind of why it's the backdrop for e-commerce websites, for product pages, for product photography. Google is the most popular search engine in the world, right? So it uses that very minimalistic design. Again, it's practical because their results are so heavily text based, and their results are usually all encompassing in terms of it takes up a whole page just with text. So, how do we make this minimalistic, humble, clean design help us? Well, it's going to offset the result page. So, when you go to the homepage of Google, you're seeing the most minimal way to display a search bar, and then you're going to see obviously the negative space all around there, all in white. White makes all the information much more easier to read without distracting the users too much. It lets the information and the results speak for themselves. That's white. Number three, let's talk about gray. The gray psychology, it represents a lot of balance. It's kind of the intersect where black meets white. It's the intersection of yin and yang. Gray also represents sadness, but really it depends on the application. You'll see here we're talking about Apple. Apple uses, again, the trifecta, just like Nike does, of gray, white, and black. Even the tone of their logo there is in gray. The text is white. The background is black. It's using a mixture of black, white, and gray to maintain that sort of minimalistic but balanced but professional. And that's kind of how gray is kind of seen, as that neutral, even keeled, obvious, but not too obvious choice. And Apple is not a loud company, but they are. They like to be thought of like as the obvious choice without having to scream at you in any which way. And there's nothing wrong. Sometimes you got to shout. Sometimes you got to get attention. But Apple is not that. They don't want to seem like they're from a position where they are trying to gain your approval. They want to be in the position that we are the obvious choice. Who else would you consider in terms of working in this type of field or needing these type of technologies? So that's gray. But let's talk about one of the most popular colors in the world, which is blue. Number four is blue. More specifically, blue kind of reminds people of the sky and the sea, two things that are, very full of life. Blue gives a big sense of trust that comes with it. A lot of security brands or certifications are prominently blue in their designs. However, brands need to be very careful because blue can also mean sadness. You can feeling blue. We also say that as well. So a brand designed around happiness might want to avoid using blue. There's other ways to use color to your advantage than using blue if you're a brand that's about happiness or about how people feel. So there's many brands that use blue in their messaging. It is one of the most popular colors in the whole world. But a good one would be PayPal. That's why I'm showing you guys here. They want people to feel safe. They're to trust them with their money, and I want to make it clear that they're not in the business of money. They are in the business of feeling safe while using money online. And that's why that security, that's trustworthiness, is all around that blue. It's not necessarily about the money itself. Another one that you want to think of maybe is Walmart. It's a retail brand. They help build, tons and tons of locations around the world now. And they want people to feel safe that they're going to a place that's going to guarantee them the lowest price, the money back guarantee, the price matching, quality products made in America, whatever it is. They have lots of guarantees, and that's where the blue makes sense. So that's blue. It promotes security, trustworthiness, wholesome. Um, Another one, yes, this is red. Red is number five. Red color, it grabs attention. It's full of energy, but it really does talk about alert, danger. You see them on signs, stop. It gives clear instruction. It tells the brain that it needs to take an action. So if you look at a majority of websites, red is probably displayed on a button where the designer wants somebody to take an action of some sort. Buy now, subscribe now, stuff like that. One of the biggest brands to use red in a really big way is YouTube. And they don't necessarily use it as a form of an alert or danger or anything like that, but they do want to promote it as a way of excitement and action. They want you to watch now, play, pause, stay on the site, but they want you to feel excited about being on YouTube. Let's keep going here because we're running so fast out of time. Uh, 12, excuse me, number six is Lay's chips. And again, the obvious one is yellow, looks and reminds people of the sun. When they think of the sun, it's usually happy, optimism, positivity. You'll notice that yellow is generally used in brands expressing some type of positive attribute or nature. So okay, keeping even in mind with what we just talked about, Walmart. Walmart uses yellow a lot on top of its blue for the rollback, for the guarantees that they're doing back, for their sales. Different charities use yellow a lot as well. Lay's is a popular one. I'm showing this one right now that uses yellow in their messaging to promote happiness. They want people to feel like they're eating their chips will directly lead to happiness because they're so delicious. They want people to feel excited that this is a part of their, treat, that they get to, take it easy. This is all positive. We're having a good time. Go get yourself a bag of Lay's potato chips. Number seven, we're only doing 10, by the way. We're talking about the psychology behind the color green. And green is the most common color in association, obviously, with growth, with money, with nature. Investing firms and environmentally friendly brands generally use green as a primary color for their marketing. Wealth doesn't always have to be monetary. You could be a wealth of knowledge, wealth of health, or anything like that. So that's where green is a very powerful brand to use. It works with fitness and coaching brands as well because people want growth. They want to feel like they're taking care of their well-being, that they are being knowledgeable, and that's where they're tapping into that culture as well. I've chosen John Deere. They've built their entire foundation of their brand is based around this color green. Even their machines are all painted green and with accents of yellow. They don't just reserve the color for the branding, they actually put it on the machines as well. So it so clearly identifies with what they're trying to do. Again, they're tractors, they're mowers, they're lawn care machines, they're utility vehicles, but it's very connected to nature with environmental aspects as well. So green is an excellent color for that. Number eight, let's talk about orange. The psychology of orange, it promotes creativity. When I was in design school many, many years ago, we used orange a lot. Every, design portfolio used orange in it. And it was kind of like the moniker of people that were creative. They thought orange and gray together was really, really cool, like the obvious cool choice of people who was somebody doing a lot of creative work. And it's true. It's associated with creativity and enthusiasm. It's brighter than red, but orange doesn't necessarily have that whole danger, alert, stop, stop, stop attribute to it. Yeah, it's more calming, but it draws attention, so it's really, really cool. And this is, you can see this in Etsy. They use orange again to surprise and delight people, to make people feel calm and respected in their brand, but they know that it's artisan, that they know that it's really creative and positive, and so that's how you can see Etsy is using that. Okay, we're almost done here. We have 10 minutes left. Again, number nine, pink conveys playfulness and love. And again, this is a color that is very, very popular in the entire world. It's linked to our primal primary emotion that people feel, which is like love, affection, playfulness, and you see that it's associated as well with femininity, and it kind of plays back to that whole love and affection. Femininity is a great way to add to that. Even like lingerie brands use a lot of pink as the primary color because of that playfulness, that love attribute as well, how people are feeling. And so I've chosen to use Barbie. Barbie uses pink because obviously the dolls are a very feminine type toy, but they're also very playful. So you can see how Barbie uses pink in that as well. Okay, last one. 10. Purple, the life of luxury. Um, Purple has always represented that luxurious life. Even kings and queens used to use it because it was very hard to get that dye made with natural dyes to make that color. So there was a scarcity around purple, so only the richest of the rich could afford it, and it's kind of stuck with that. And you can see that people use it strategically to make people feel special, to make people feel VIP. Hallmark is another one of those brands that uses purple in their branding, again, to promote a sense of royalty, of speciality when someone is getting a card from them that, from Hallmark, that you are in our thoughts. We're thinking about you. We want to honor you or give you congratulatory remarks or whatever it might be. Even with the logo, it has a little crown at the very top there. And that's also something that's very impactful in terms of how people feel when they're getting those cards. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit more here. That was number 10, by the way. Now that you have, we have a few minutes left. Now that you have a sense of what all these different colors, there's tons. They teach courses on this that break it down even further, that have even more color and color sets and combinations of colors, and how those things are linked directly to certain behaviors within different niches and industries. Like I said, each color has a role to play. The best thing for you guys to start doing right now is to start to think about when you go out somewhere, start to notice, if you can, how stores are strategically placing products and their shelves, and how those colors work with one another. It's a great exercise. I was sent to do this, years ago when I was in school. Look at the shelves, the shelf placements, and look at different niches or different industries, whether it's cereal, whether it's sauces, whether it's stores that have, home goods stuff. Look at the different things that are inside there and pay attention to how they are promoting them and selling them. It's not by accident. Like I said before, these companies are paying a lot of money for people to do research and to understand realistically what are people doing with these products as they see them coming through. So, color theory, it impacts the brand. It really is important to understand at least the basics of color psychology, as well as understanding how you can leverage your brand to see some better decisions being made, or at least to help people make better decisions. So let the experts bring your brand to life with breathtaking designs. Us at Creative Partner, we are brand experts. We have a team of people that I would consider to all be experts in their own right, from marketing to creative to branding. And we love diving deep and creating meaningful brands that help explain and position you the way that your brand needs to be explained and positioned. We'd love to talk to you. Hit the links in the description. Hit the subscribe button. All right, guys. I've been Bart. Peace out.